My 28F husband 28M having affair and left me for 21F coworker. I, 28F, and my husband, 28M, have been together for almost 11 years, married for nearly 1. I recently found out he is having an affair with his 21F, almost 22F, coworker. He is her manager at work. They are friendly and I've allowed him to go to a mutual friend's parties with her. But I didn't notice anything serious until now. I know he drinks and smokes weed at these parties, which is unlike him. I always suspected he was attracted to, had feelings for her, but I never thought my husband to be the type to cheat. In fact, he has always been against cheating and said this is a deal-breaker for him. I recently started noticing a change in him. He was very low energy, taking jabs at me here and there and trying to get me to spend more time away from home. He has also been coming home late from work a lot and coming home chewing gum and one night smelling like weed when he doesn't smoke. I recently went home to see family and he was normal, except for a night where I could not reach him and he said he was asleep. When I got home, we had a very emotional fight after him saying he didn't know about our marriage when I asked him, but he was in tears and begging me not to leave. I thought we would be able to fix our marriage. Our marriage wasn't perfect, but I've done a lot for my husband and I felt we were genuinely in love. We did nearly everything together and were like best friends. We've had dry spells here and there but would always come out of them, and to me, the sex was still extremely satisfying with him and he always seems into it. In fact, the night I came home from my trip we were intimate and he was saying how much he missed me. The night I found out, I saw he had 17,000 deleted texts between the two of them. He got extremely defensive and wouldn't let me see the texts. I tried to lock myself in our room to read them and he burst through the door and tackled me to grab the phone. He ran out of the house barefoot and angry to permanently delete the texts. I called her in front of him when he came back in the house and he was straight-faced the entire time. She admitted she's been helping him with mental health issues and they kissed a few weeks ago at work. Come to find out, this kiss happened after he had a panic attack at work, which he's never struggled with before. She claims she cares for him but not romantically, which he seemed bothered by. I left to stay with a friend. He didn't call me or try to reconcile, but I saw he called her that night and a few nights since then. She has also been over his friend's house where he is staying. He's shown absolutely no remorse except for a text he sent me almost a week ago saying he loves me but he's not good right now and maybe in the future if I'm still willing we can try again. This was obviously not good enough for me. I've had to coax information out of him and he admitted he's not in love with me anymore and this would have happened either way. This was a shock because we got married 9 months ago and he was in tears our entire wedding day and absolutely beaming. He was also reassuring me that I'm his life and there was no one else and telling me how much he loves me. We were even planning a vacation together before this happened. He says he is depressed and has been having suicidal thoughts and has been confiding this in her but claimed it was nothing more. He has already moved out of our apartment and deleted me off of all of his social media and added her. I've been begging him to come home and reconcile but he claims he has too much going on, there's nothing to fix and he doesn't want to put in the effort for it to fail. He makes no effort to call or try to speak to me. I've learned from his brother that he called him one night when I was home being extremely aggressive, asking for his Netflix password and speaking nonsensically, which is very unlike my husband. He is also avoiding his family and old friends who would not condone his behavior. I recently discovered his DMs between him and the coworker and he has been professing his love for her, saying he never knew love until he met her, she's all he wants. Everything was hard until he met her, and I also discovered they have been having sex quite a lot. They haven't even gone on proper dates yet, so I'm quite confused how he can be professing this deep love to her and throwing away 11 years as well as his stability and potentially his job for this woman. This behavior is completely unlike him. He has always been very loving, kind-hearted and logical. I have wondered if he is on drugs or experiencing a mental health episode. No one in his life recognizes this person or his behavior and his family is shocked and disappointed. Any advice? Could this be limerence? I'm so sad to see my relationship end this way and I don't recognize this person. Stop making excuses for him, cut your losses. Never let a man tell you he doesn't want you twice. It's hard but you need to know it's over. He mostly sounds like he's smoking a lot of weed. He's not mentally ill. He's just blowing up his life for an exciting new woman. It's not an original story. I'm sorry this happened to you. Call a lawyer and get tested for STDs. He is involved with a subordinate. He will be losing his job. Yes, this is limerence but that doesn't make it any easier. I'm very sorry you are going through this. It is likely that you will spend time thinking about what you could have done differently or find things that you could use to blame yourself, but I hope you know that there is nothing you did to cause this. He made this choice and it says a lot about him, not about you. Did this man just say maybe in the future we can try again? Girl, in the near future please be divorced from this guy. Don't try to understand the madness, get your finances in order. My 32M wife, 35F, is suggesting we open our marriage to my childhood friend. My wife and I have been together for 10 years, married for 8, and now have 2 small kids together. She is the love of my life and I could not imagine myself with anyone else. About 3 years into our marriage she started to show attraction to Asian characters in the shows and movies we watched together on our weekly movie nights. At first I brushed it off as a joke, but I realized she was serious about a month ago when we started watching Chicago Med. She joked often of wanting one of the characters, Dr. Choi, to be her doctor so he could feel her up. I laughed along, until she insisted we stop watching when Dr. Choi got into a relationship with another doctor. Thinking about it now, throughout our entire relationship Asian men caught her attention. For the past few years, she's been obsessed with popular K-pop members, joking how she would rather be with Eric Moon and Jimin. Even going as far to say that she's disappointed she got stuck with a white man and that our babies aren't as cute. A friend of mine since childhood is Korean and visits with us often. He and my wife have become friends. I always thought she acted weird around him, but I never took it personally until last night. As I was cleaning up dinner, she put the kids to bed and asked to sit down and have a talk about something important. I was hesitant, but agreed. She started it by saying that she didn't feel like our sex life was as fulfilling as it used to be. I was taken aback and asked what I could do to bring her more fulfillment. She suggested we bring in a third person into our sex life. I instantly knew she had someone in mind despite her denying it. After an hour of talking in circles she revealed she had been having sexual thoughts and urges regarding my childhood friend and she suggested I watch. I was stunned and told her I didn't want to discuss this anymore and slept in the living room. She took the kids to school this morning and went to help her sister pack as she is moving soon. We haven't spoken since last night and I don't know what to do. I'm sat in my car outside my office writing this. I don't want to go home and see her knowing what she's thinking about. I think I want a divorce as she's clearly no longer the woman I fell in love with and I suspect she has already acted upon her urges with him. Is that too big of a jump over a sexual fantasy? Too long did not read. My wife suggested I watch her be intimate with my childhood friend. Is divorce too extreme of a response? Edit. Spoke with my friend and my wife after I returned home from work. I will be updating in due time once I feel I have things sorted out. I thank those of you nice enough to offer kind words and support. I personally wouldn't say divorce is an extreme here. Get tested for STDs and find a lawyer. You will never see her the same way again. The moment they bring out open marriage is the moment your marriage is over. Contact a lawyer and start the process. Wants to act? Yes. Has already acted? That's a big leap. Your response should be, no, and it should also be, my Korean friend will no longer be coming to our house and I expect you to block him on all platforms so that you're not unfaithful. And it should also be, don't ask for this again. She is asking for you to approve her obsessive fetish. She needs to get some therapy, especially if she can't handle an actor on TV being in a relationship. It's one thing to like an actor, character, but when it interferes with reality, it's an issue. My 29F boyfriend, 29M, spent $8K at a strip club. Boyfriend and I have been dating 2 years, are financially independent, split bills and chores evenly, and have a sexually healthy relationship. We usually do dates once a week. A few months ago my boyfriend went out to a music show. I didn't go because I had work early that morning, and work again the next morning. I woke up around 5-6 and saw he wasn't home. I got worried, checked his location and saw he was at a strip club. At the time he wasn't aware that I was not okay with strip clubs. He ended up coming home about 30 minutes later, crying and drunk. He tells me he spent $8K. I'm not joking, $8K. He says he spent it on bottle service, drinks, and lap dances. He swear he didn't cheat and even offered for me to smell him down there, which I said no to. We had many long discussions about this, and he even tried to get the money back through the bank. I ended up having to trust that this was a mistake and hopefully a lesson learned for him. I told him I don't want him going to a strip club again, even though I feel like I should be a cool girlfriend. I'm not okay with it and feel it borders on legitimate cheating. Now, a week ago he and a friend decided to go out to get some drinks. Okay, well I woke up for work around 4 a.m. to see he's at a strip club. I call and call, no answer. He tells me he will call me back and the police are there. I'm worried but I have to go to work. At work, he calls me and tells me he and his friend went to a club, but got jumped? Then he says that he spent most of his time there in the strip club office with the manager, for reasons unknown, but he was also crazy drunk. But I'm assuming it had something to do with his card or the amount of money. He showed me his bank statement showing they took a total of 2 transactions equaling to about 7-8K. He says he did not approve that amount, but I haven't been able to bring myself to ask him more on this situation. I'm beside myself in anger, sadness, and disappointment. I don't know what to do from here. I love this guy and every aspect of our relationship is wonderful. However, I don't want an idiot girlfriend when it comes to this. I have hesitations as to why he would want to even go to a strip club, and if he's happy, why is he sabotaging our relationship and disrespecting me as his partner? Too long did not read. BF went to strip club, spent 8K, he says he didn't cheat. Now, he's lathering, rinsing, and repeating. Your boyfriend stayed out all night not once, but twice. What would you tell your good friend to do? He spent 8K twice? Am I reading this right? Being a cool girlfriend gets you nothing but being walked over and not respected. I wouldn't want to continue a relationship with someone this financially irresponsible. He will ruin your future as a couple if he doesn't get his act together. Not only that, he crossed a boundary by going to a strip club again. Get out, girl. This relationship is a lost cause. He has no respect for your relationship or you. Realize he got a lot of action for $8,000. He's cheating on you physically and financially. My girlfriend, 22 female, lied to me, 22 male. My girlfriend has had this friend she had hooked up with about 2 months before me and her got together. Throughout the course of our relationship I'd notice how she'd still receive messages from this guy on a pretty regular basis. She would reassure me saying how she doesn't talk to him or tell me how much she does like him or care about him etc. and I would just blow it off and trust her blindly, as I think you should do in a relationship. After time went on I continued to notice messages from this guy and grew uneasy about the fact that they were still in touch knowing their history and how recent it was. I eventually set a clear boundary with her telling her I don't want her talking to this guy anymore and she obliged, or so I thought. Time went on and everything was fine. I stopped seeing messages from him on her phone until one day she was doing homework and asked me to grab her iPad from the other room. As I went to grab her iPad I opened it to ensure that it was charged and wasn't handing her a dead iPad. I flipped it open and see the guy's name I told her to stop talking to right in the middle of the screen and a message that was from 1 day ago. I confront her about it and she says he was just asking if she was home from college and explains how she doesn't care to talk to him or keep in touch anymore and will block him if I want and that's it, no problem to her essentially. I tell her to block him and she does without any hesitation. After some thinking I realize that the only reason I saw that message on the iPad was because she muted the messages from him on her phone but not her iPad. It doesn't transfer on both devices. I let another couple weeks go on until my curiosity gets the best of me and I look through her iPad, because I knew I'd find something, and discovered she'd had been talking to and seeing this guy the whole time behind my back. Every time she told me she was going to see one of her girlfriends she was actually texting him to see if he was going to be at said place. Along with, "Good night insert nickname less than 3 inches" texts when I was laying right next to her. I feel so betrayed and lied to. How do I continue? End the relationship. She's unreliable and cannot be trusted. Go get tested. What do you think, my man? She's obviously sleeping with that guy. Get tested. How do I continue? Continue to do what? Stay with her? Forgive her? Stop fooling yourself and end this immediately.